Greetings, everyone. How's everyone tonight? Just let me sort out some technical stuff here. Okay. There we go. Okay. How's everyone doing this evening? Not too bad tonight. How's everyone feeling this evening? Sounds good. All right. Don't be shy, folks. Good to see you, Robert. How's everything in your life right now? How's everyone doing? Okay. I see there's people coming on. Very good. Right on. Tommy Gunn, good to see you. What Amazon thing? Good to see you, Tommy. Good to see you, Robert. See who else is coming out tonight. All right. There's 4 people, apparently. Don't be shy, folks. Say hello. Say hello. Yeah, I took him out already, dear. How's everyone tonight? Good to see you, Corey, Hammerhead, Ray Hawley, Tommy Gunn, Robert Christie. How's it going, gentlemen? I'm just trying out the StreamYard thing here too, so I can hit the Facebook platform as well as the YouTube. Everything seems to be working just fine. I got 11 people on. Don't be shy, folks. Feel free to ask me anything. It's been quite the interesting week in politics as we see it. Well, let everybody know. Let me know exactly where you're from too once you sign in. I'm not saying your exact town, but province or state would be sufficient. Okay. And feel free to ask me anything you want to know. Just keep it clean, folks. Last couple of streams I've had have been pretty gnarly when it comes to some dirty comments. I like blue humor too, but come on, keep them to yourself. So I got push-ups from BC. Yeah, good to see you. Push-ups, Hammerhead, R. Corey. Good to see you from Aurelia. Yeah. London. Yeah, I used to live in London many moons ago. Yes. Back in my punk rock days. Yeah. Oh, it was more punk rock, thrash metal, and some hardcore stuff. But yeah, it was still pretty sufficient. So I'll see more people coming on. Don't be shy, folks. Say hello. And a special hello out there to Adam Daniel Mazet. He had some family issues to sort with. So my prayers are with you, bud. So, Hammerhead from Wolfville, Nova Scotia. Right on. All right. In fact, I'm going to do something here. Colin, good to see you. Yeah, there's talk about that in June. We'll see. Will that be before or after they call the election? Interesting. So, no, I was not a royal back in those days, Tommy. I was a royal from 99 till about 2012. And then I transferred to the Princess Patricia's. So, yeah. Oh, it's nice. So my wife showed me her new glasses. Awesome. They look good. They look fantastic. So, yes, oh my God. There is basically a go home policy in Ontario, and of course they have curfews in la Belle Province, all to fight a respiratory infection. Yes. And the U.S., yes, I'm not going to comment too much in the U.S. If any of my American friends out there this evening want to weigh in, please do. I encourage it. Right? Say hello, pop up, tell me what state you're from. But yeah, it's quite the abnormality when it comes to what Parler's going through. Excuse me. And other big tech corporations getting their hands on what people can say, what they can do. Well, when I look at Bill Blair's politics, he's following the party line. He's not following anyone in particular except for Justin and his paycheck. So, well, I'm not going to repeat that, Robert. Cheeky bugger. Yeah. Don't be shy, folks. Please say hello. Let me know what's going down in your own worlds. So please don't be shy. Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. They look at the mega supporters as terrorists, and they're not terrorists. There might be some people that are out there, but what was the stink made when they had all the riots going on when Mr. Floyd was killed? Look at the excuses that mainstream media put up for that behavior, right? I'm not condemning, I'm not condoning what those police officers did, but that doesn't mean every cop is guilty. That doesn't mean every other city and every other small business has to feel the rage and the wrath of the mob mentality. I heard something like that. Push-ups, yeah. All righty. Well, feel free to ask me a question, folks, and I'll post it right here for you too if you want. Feel free. But things don't look that promising. But needless to say, we got to stand our grounds, do what we can. And I've recently purchased some new podcast equipment too. So there'll be more effects and sound effects too when it comes to the Crusty Canuck podcast as well. So pay attention to that. I've heard that they have quite the mobilization. So quite the mobilization down south. Hammerhead Garage. Let's see. Here we go. Yes, COVID measures are out of control here in Canada. They are. It's ridiculous. There's more fear being mongered than actual solution. Well, I couldn't even stand watching the news this morning because the shit pump called Justin Trudeau was on there talking about virtues and stuff. Yeah, I want to puke every time I hear the man speak now. So I don't find it very interesting. So. Well, see, that's the thing, Tommy Gunn. Here, I'll show this too. Democrats considering themselves as government speak against them. Your label is the state. Exactly. It's turning into a real shit show. Now, is that kind of mentality going to regurgitate up here too? Right. There is a link there, Hammerhead. There is a link towards that. A 64-year-old man, I believe in Guelph, was apprehended. There's look at the post-millennial page. They have footage of that. Good evening, Fred Stockman. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Fred Stockman. He hosts a podcast in his own. I highly suggest you check out his podcast too. It's the Fred Stockman podcast on Anchor FM. Very inquisitive, very articulate, down home, right? So. You bet mail-in ballots next election. Who knows what they're going to try? Concerning all the hush-hush around Dominion machines and their head office in Toronto, I don't know exactly. So we, the Canadian people, we can demand proper mailing ballots and proper stations to go and submit said mailing ballots like we've done in every election. And I don't give a flying F what pandemic or what issues they're going to say. We can demand proper ballots. Right? Oh, good to see you, Glenn. Thanks for coming out. Yes. Man, I feel the same way Sergio speaks. Yes, we all do. Right? Because he's basically sitting in a surrounding like myself in some office in Ottawa, telling the UN how wonderful he is. Right. Robert Christie, that's page 1 in your Communist Party book. Well, I don't follow the commies too well, but I see the routine they're trying to promote. So. Feel free to ask me if you want to know, ladies and gentlemen. As far as I know, curfews in Ontario yet. Now, I'm not in Ontario. I am following Ontario news because I have family and friends there. As far as I know, there's just the basic go home policy, what's essential, what's not essential, all that good stuff, which to me is total bullshit. So. Tommy Gunn says, it wouldn't surprise me, Tommy, if interest rates do go up, because especially the way Miss Freeland is carrying on her pint-sized twatty antics. Oh, we're going to borrow some more money and borrow into prosperity. Who in their right mind borrows into prosperity? Honestly, that'll make our debt go up, I think, to what, $1.8 trillion? How's that effective for us right now? Considering that the oil industry has been kiboshed, there's still oil being exchanged. A lot of our natural resources have been kiboshed, and our general basic marketing has been kiboshed because of this issue. And provinces stepping in, closing this, and deciding what's essential, what's not essential. Walmart stock's going up. Amazon stock is going up. Oh, good for them. Great. How's it going to help you or me? Mike the Pipe Boss, good to see you. Taxes will rise. Yes, exactly. They've already put the second carbon tax in, right? You'll probably see it in next month's heating. I know I will, right? The penalty we have to pay for keeping our homes warm in the wintertime. Yeah. Oh, Mike, what's the HST in Ontario right now? We got the 5% GST. What's the HST now? Is it 13 cents? 13%. Okay, so 18% of your dollar goes to, yeah, fuck. What a kick in the junk that is. Wow. Well, so 13% AHT plus the 5% GST. So 18%, right? Not to mention, because I remember when my mother passed away, we tried to sell her car to our cousin for like pennies, basically like $300. Here, take mom's car. You know, I remember having to go to the Ontario Service Office and ask permission how much tax I would have to charge on that private sale. And it worked out to about $77, I believe it was, for provincial tax to sell a piece of equipment that was already bought and paid for. Fucking ridiculous, right? Yes, I actually saw something like that, Colin. Justin says he wants to serve for more years to come. Of course he does. He's got a good paycheck. He's got a little tickle here and there, a little sphincter muscle retention. And of course he wants to serve. But see, that's the thing. When I look at serving, it means you're doing it for the general good. You're doing it for the public. You're on representing the people that voted you in. He's doing a terrible job of the people, of all people. I don't care who voted him in, even the people that love him to this day. Wrong. He wants to serve because he wants the job. He's looking forward to it. Well, we'll see if they call another election. Yours truly is going to run for the VCP. So, yeah. Oh, good to see you, Adam. How's everything? You good to go? Any issues? Oh, of course, Mike. They're all, yeah, of course they are. Opposition is comfortable. Yeah, exactly. Everybody in Parliament right now is comfortable collecting a paycheck. See, what annoys me is that in the past 2 years, they've had two pay raises. Okay. They all voted for two pay raises to me, which is an insult because it doesn't matter if you're the opposition or if they're governing body. They all stood around and watched people lose their jobs. The ridiculous C-69, ridiculous C-48, ridiculous C-16, and they still stood there and voted on higher pay when they should have voted against these bills to begin with. So who do you trust? Right? So Paul MacArthur wants to be like his dad, like Castro. Well, sure. Oh, top of the tits. Good to see you, Adam. Adam Daniel Mazet, everybody. Top of the tits. Right on. Check out his show too, the Hidden Gem podcast. Excellent work. Excellent. You will not be disappointed when you listen to his work. Even his Fast Thoughts page on YouTube. Fantastic. Check it out, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see you in good spirits, Adam. What will the equipment counting on our votes? Can you elaborate on that, Chris? Adam, it's hanging just fine, bud. Hanging just fine. Yeah. Notice I shaved again, keeping the old goat up there. Yeah, can you elaborate on that question there, Chris? Mike the Pipe Boss. Yeah, that's the thing. I look at Michelle Rempel, and yeah, I would say she's gifted. I would say she's talented, but I don't know where her loyalties really lie. To be honest with you, I really don't. Um, I'm not exactly sure where her loyalties really lie. When I hear Pierre Polyev speak, I like what he does. He basically gets in their faces and asks them tough questions without coming across as a dick. But I personally, I would like to see more dicks giving them shit. So that's the thing. They're all covering their paychecks. They all make an average of 182,000 a year plus whatever perks for being ministers of said position. Right. We all saw that bleep of Mary or Maria Monsef. How much am I making every year? I don't know. Like, so no. Domestic equipment? What do you mean? The GDP or the equipment we have in the military? I need you to elaborate, Chris, if you can. Okay, I got to put this up, Adam. That's excellent. That's perfect. Yeah. When referring to the parliamentary system in Canada, Mr. Mezet says, I concur. Well said, sir. Well said. Exactly. Exactly. Christopher Levy. Hey, not a problem, Christopher. Anytime. I think more and more vets should get out and really speak out against what's going on here, regardless of where you stand in the political spectrum or not. There's a lot of vets in my life that I know who can't stand politics, don't want anything to do with it, and rightfully so. But in the same sense, a lot of these decisions that are made in Ottawa is going to affect everybody, not just vets and our pensions, not just you in the workforce, not just our seniors, everyone as a whole. So, but you're welcome, Chris, or Chris. Yeah, Christopher. So, oh, oh, okay, let's see what else we got going on here. Alrighty then. Hammer Garage. Let's see what we got here. The Commander Dane Forces, yes. Oh god, change command parades. Yeah. But it was all done virtual. So I doubt they had a guard of honor there or any kind of honor guard, doing the drill movements and having some cranky old RSM, making you come in after work to work on your drill movements to make sure everything's sharp and crisp. Right. K Fu, good to see you. Yep. Yeah, I saw part of that chain of command. I don't know. Oh. Yes, here's a classic line from Trudeau. Yes, we got into debt, so you don't have to. Mm, yeah, exactly. Mm, yeah. Yes, drunk for days. Oh, trust me, I know. We had a few parades there back in battalion that were memorable, to say the least. Mm. Well, see, that's the thing. A lot of parades aren't the same anymore. A lot of rules and regulations aren't the same anymore. You know, so what company are you referring to, Chris? Good to see you, Joe. Good to see you, K Fu. Well, oh, of course, budgets balance themselves. Just like these cigarettes are going to smoke themselves, right? Yeah. No. Don't be shy, folks. Ask me anything you want to know. Dominion, yes. As far as I know, the Rebel did a story on that there, Chris W. They are based in Toronto. You have to look at the Rebel right now. I don't have the page open, so I'm still working on the kinks of this live stream thing here. So, but yeah, it's just a real poop show. Just a real poop show. Yeah. And of course, they did deny any of it too, right? What gets me is that why would you want machines to do the job of the voter and the taxpayer, right? I can see when it comes to counting, but even that can be compromised too. The old-fashioned way, the old paper, and pen ballot, have people count them, and then that's it. And if need be, have an armed guard or an armed police officer stand there making sure there's no fuckery going about. So, but yeah, as far as I know, Dominion is downtown Toronto. So, not the old grocery store chain, you know. Same here. Canada Poly does a great thing on his show there. He's moving to rumble.com, but he has some great reports on the hospital issue, especially around his area. He's in the Kitchener-Waterloo Guelph area, so he has a lot of insight on what goes on there. So if you get a chance, look at Canada Poly. He'll give you some insight. So, well, as far as I know, Tommy Gunn, they are fighting that in court as we speak. And the CCFR website has all the information on that. So check them out if you can. They'll give you insight. Even they have a show on YouTube, their radio show. Mr. Gattaca and Miss Wilson herself, they do a like a radio podcast show. So they have all the information there. So see, that's the thing, Mike. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Lots of American NGOs linked with Canadian companies. They all work together to milk the system. Remember the scandal when Obama? Yes. And I also know, too, that the Tides Foundation, it has a different name now, but they get a lot of Democrat coin, too. So the people at Tides and all these environmental fronts, they get quite a bit of kickback as well. So, but yeah, thanks for sharing that, Mike. Appreciate that. So, Mr. John, what do I think of Nick Fuentes? Who is he? No, I've been paying attention. Is he an American? Nick Fuentes. I have no idea who he is. Should I? Oh. Okay. Who is he then, John? Please tell me. Uranium One. Yes. Yes. That is familiar. Yeah. Adam, yeah. I don't know. I'm tempted not to post that, Adam. I might. Oh, fuck it. Whatever. Here we go. Yes. You know what Dominion's? Yeah. I remember those commercials as a kid too. Yeah. Yeah. I remember the flyers mainly because of the meat. Yeah. Yeah. Classic. Okay, John. Yes, I will keep that in mind. Right wing activist and podcast host Nick Fuentes. Okay. I'll keep that in mind for sure. But thanks for bringing it to my attention and everybody else's attention. Okay. But thanks, John, for that. Appreciate it. Yes, Freeland does sound like she's not all there. And there's a gentleman here on the page with us today who coined the phrase "pint size, you know what." So, guess I say, well, thank you. Snack time. Mm. Thank you, dear. Maybe later. Mm. Yes, I do. Yeah. When I was a kid, it was Beatrice. Yeah. Yeah. But I do remember seeing the sign, everything in capitals, homo. Well, that was quite the, hey, 2%, not you, homo. Yeah. Remember that joke? Yeah. Well, don't be shy, folks. Feel free, step up, say hi, ask me a question. I'll definitely look at that Nick Fuentes there. I'm sure Fred Stockman can send me a link to that later on. Yes, I do remember that. When the OIC came on May 1st, I actually called her on that too. In the episode I did, I think May 2nd, or it was May 1st. I forget. It's in my page, ladies and gentlemen. And she was just sitting there. Oh, I'm just so tired of military fetishism. And it's like, well, you must hate athletes too, because hockey players walk around and they wear shirts of their favorite team. So do football players. People that fish tend to wear fishing paraphernalia. Just that disingenuine disdain for people that enjoy sport shooting. If I was there, I would have thrown a brick at her, well, or a ball of shit, one or the other. So, Ray Holly Peterson. Let's see here. Feelings on rumor of military takeover U.S. government and restoring full democracy by cleaning house. I heard something like that. I saw something today in regards to that, and I don't know. I would like to see it. I would like to see people that are responsible for a lot of the chaos happening in North America get fired or fined or charged or, heaven forbid, shot. But, I honestly don't know. I would like to see it. I'd like to see on the corruptors. So I appreciate that question there, Ray Holly. Thank you. Who is the Adam? Well, I don't really wax per se. I don't do the Mrs. Brown thing. So there you go. That's all I'm going to say on that one. Hey, Joe. Good to see you. Gabriel, good to see you. New chief of defense staff. I know it's an admiral. I'm pretty sure he's Navy. So we'll have more sailors calling the shots. No offense to any ex-Navy guys out there. So, yes, Hammer, that's right. Wait till Sunday or Monday. I think it was you that gave me that link. So, okay. I have a cricket farm in London as a protein supplement. Oh, of course, crickets are delicious. I have a worm farm too. They're great supplements. Uh, Honestly, whatever the police and civilian population should have. I think there's enough civilians, especially out west, who own a firearm. And let's say technically if shit ever hit the fan, there would be enough people that could stand up and do something. Mm, mm. COVID, that's funny. That's funny because I actually met Rick Hillier. I met Rick Hillier in Afghanistan in 2007. And at the time, he was very down to earth, realistic, and he would constantly be in the government's face. This is what we need. This is what we need. And it was done. We had some proper vehicles, proper equipment, and a lot of money that was geared towards funding the military properly. So I give him credit for that. But this whole COVID thing, I'm just like, a general's pension is very lucrative. Not to mention, I think that his paycheck a month would be what, 18 to 20 grand a month, if I'm not mistaken. So Mike the Pipe Boss says, well, that's a good question. Definitely a sidearm for the what the fuck scenario. But I do own an AR-15 and I'm rigging it as we speak. Not, but in the meantime, for close quarter, yes, 5.56 carbine, and for a real shit disturber, stopping power, my M14. Here, I'll advertise that, Gabriel. Sounds like you want to advertise that. So I've actually seen those little CNC mills. They're quite cool. Yeah. When I was studying gunsmithing, I was looking into those. Yeah. Yes, I remember that, Tommy Gunn. Hillier did want the combat badge, but there were some bureaucrats that were like, "Oh, that's too aggressive. Why not? It's a badge of honor. If you've seen action, display it." Right? There's a few times I've saw enough action, so yeah, I would like to display that. You know, Carl G. Well, okay, we have to sign those out. Adam Daniel Mazet asks, discuss the concept of the coalition of independence replacing the legacy. Excellent. Yes. Yes. I actually agree with that. I do. They were talking about that on the Rebel there with somebody from the Taxpayers Federation. Yes. So you can have a coalition of independents. I would agree to that. Doesn't matter what party you're with. Like say if you have like one Wild Rose and then one NDP, and then they get elected in their areas, fine. They can have a coalition to an extent without messing. Not like what Mr. Jagmeet Singh has with Trudeau being butt buddies. But let's say if you don't pull your weight in your riding after or during that 4 years period, yeah, gone instead of waiting for an election. I would agree to that. Yeah, yeah, because we have enough of these career politicians that have spent the better part of 10 years in the same seat or in the same party, and they've done nothing. So, well, thank you, dear. Cheers. Yes, by all means, I would agree with that, Adam. Yeah. Mm. Well said. Yes. Yeah. I agree. I agree. If you're independent, well, it doesn't matter what party you're with, really. Really. If you're independent or you're part of a conglomerate, yeah, you're not pulling your weight in your constituency or your riding, you're gone. I would agree. Mhm. Yeah, I would see that. And it can work very well in a parliamentary system. Hence the English Civil War. I think all three of them. Mm. Chris W asks, yes. I wonder if you're able to watch the counting live. Mm-hmm. You know, that'd probably give people incentive not to toss away documents, right? If every little station had its camera and people are watching from home, that would increase honesty. But then again, that's kind of creepy too. That's very 84-ish. But you'd probably see a little more honesty when it comes to counting stations and polling stations. So, well, yeah, spend only at small business bank with small private banks. Yeah, that's a good plan too. Out here we have the credit union, which is somewhat to an extent, but you're investing in the province too. So in a way, something happens, you're not going to get screwed. Other than the big three like Scotia, Royal, and CIBC. So, but yeah, good point, Mike. Appreciate that. It's the wolf. Yes. My spirit animal is the wolf, preferably the gray wolf. And that was actually given to me in a ceremony with a First Nations lady out of the Saugeen area in Ontario just after my mother passed away. So that was kind of cool. Well, but thanks for that question. I appreciate that. Fred Stockman says, now, is that with or without the whiskey? Huh? There's a difference. Well said, sir. Yeah. Tommy Gunn says, MPs here in Canada retire, they just fade away. Sometimes they do, yeah, but you're right, they don't retire like they should, right? They don't retire like they should. So, oh. Any more questions, folks? Please keep them coming. Keep them clean, though, too, Adam. So, okay, here we are. What sort of community would you rather live in? Gabriel asks, what sort of community would you rather live in? Defensive retreat in Alberta or an offensive base outside of Ottawa for shit disturbers? Totally hypothetical, of course. Well, of course. I would like to live in a community where you can defend your home with no repercussions, other than a proper investigation and basically like the castle laws, right? If someone invades your home and they have intent on harming you or loved ones with the intent of killing you, you should be able to retaliate with no repercussions other than an investigation. You know, like even if you're deemed innocent here in Canada, we know you still got to go to court and defend yourself regardless, which can cost you anywhere from 10 grand to 15 to $20,000 for representation. It's quite scary. So, a good question. Oh, what was that question? Quest W asked, does Canada need another party? Well, there's a lot of parties in the mix. You've got the top four. You've got the Liberals, Conservatives, NDP, and Les Bloc with a couple of Greenies, and then Independents. It's not a matter of we need another party. It's the type of people we need too. We also have libertarians. There's quite the big libertarian movement. There's myself. I have libertarian values, but I also believe in government to a point where it should govern and not control anyone's lives. So the more people, the merrier, I'd say. Now, I'm not saying have 10 or 20 parties in parliament, but I will say people that want the job and are willing to do the hard work with said job should get in. So, Mike the Pipe Boss. Yes, I read that today too. It's funny. I've got my copy here. It was mandatory reading for us in high school. To propose what if, and yet the what if is becoming the borderline what is scary. So, Adam Daniel Mazet. What are you most proud of from your time in the CAF? Follow-up question: what are you most proud of being a Canadian 20? I am proud of the fact that I have worked with a lot of great people, that I was given a little more structure, i.e., how to be a better person, how to do a job thoroughly to the best of my ability, and to know that if I set a goal, it can be reached, whether you have a lot of support or whether you don't have a lot of support. And what am I most proud of being Canadian in 2021 is that I got the balls and I got the knowledge, and I'm still increasing my knowledge to possibly get into a political party to really make a difference to keep people on their toes based on the 20 years of service I've had. So when someone comes up to me and says, "Oh, I have a degree," it's like, well, great, I got 20 years. So but that's a good question, Adam. Thank you. I appreciate that. Another question from Fred Stockman. Yes. Who's the funniest comedian from Canada in your opinion? That's a tough one because there's a few of them I admire. The Second City cast, for starters. I would say Wayne and Schuster had an impact in my youth, as well as John Candy, Joe Flaherty, Eugene Levy, Catherine O'Hara, Harold Ramis, Martin Short, Rick Moranis, Dave Thomas, and all others. Kids in the Hall were hilarious. Codco was a great show too when that was on the air. So there's quite a bit. I have an appreciation for Jim Carrey. I have an appreciation for Mike Myers. Even Russell Peters. Russell, what are you doing? Like, some of his comedy is pretty good too. It's kind of hard to say. I don't really have one comedian. The individual that's on Letterkenny right now, he's quite hilarious too. So, but Chris W. Citizen Party or Solidarity Party? Well, you can have both, really. You can have a party that looks after its citizens in solidarity with the party, but I don't believe in towing the party line. I believe in towing the line for your constituents under whatever banner you represent. But you have to represent your constituents. That's the first and foremost. And a lot of parliamentarians have forgotten that. So, Joe CC 5052. Have you ever read the book Starship Troopers? Yes, I have. And I actually read that before I saw the movie. The movie was eye candy, to say the least, but nothing like the book. I thought the book was a hell of a lot better in regards to actually earning your citizenship. I thought that was a pretty good concept. So, Lionel Cohen. What do you think most politicians listen here about the free speech? That's a good question, because I think a lot of them are trying to cover their asses too because they want the steady paycheck. I'm seeing more conservatives step up. Jason Kenney has stepped up in his last town hall in regards to free speech. He just dismisses like, yeah, it's not going to bother me. And so it shouldn't. But this cancer culture is going to stop. I'm an advocate for free speech. It doesn't matter what you say. Nobody in their right mind is going to go into a movie theater and shout fire 3 times, right? That's just stupid. But that doesn't justify passing a law to end it or any regulation to end it either, right? So, but I think more politicians should get on the wagon of the basic principles of freedom of association, of the press, of expression, and of course speech. But they're not doing it. So, Hammerhead Garage, 20 years. His degree. Yes, thank you. I would agree with that. More people should be involved in politics. There's a better chance for this country to develop. Well, yeah, I could do, but there's a lot of people that just want to be left alone too. And I'm a believer in that as well. Just let people do their thing. Leave them alone. Quit regulating everything. And just fucking let people bleed. Let them flourish. Let them thrive. That can work too. Right? But you'd also have an abundance of MPs. You have to have the independents elected first. and then someone take the initiative as independent to talk to other independent MPs to say, hey, let's kind of have a network here without turning everything to a party. That could work. I would stand by that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. John Candy. Yeah, he was funny. He was more of a comedic actor, though. He wasn't really a comedian per se. So, Hammerhead Garage. Yeah, really. What's a good paycheck? You're gonna have your freedom, right? You get all these kids that talk about democratic socialism. Oh, what a great concept. And they forget that you're looking at anywhere from 58 to 65% of your pay or more going into the democratic socialist system. So while people sit there and brag about, oh, free education and free healthcare, it's not free. There's no such thing as free, right? Unless everyone just volunteers for the sake of the greater good without worrying about a paycheck, right? Then it might be free, you know? That's a tough question because I know for a fact that our military doesn't have a pot to piss in, you know? And I don't think the Liberal government has the guts to take a stand against any tyrant as we speak right now. Um, I don't know. I'm sure there'd be excuses made up for the Iranian regime. Of course, Justin loves his basic dictatorships, but personally, I don't think we would. No, I don't. If they do go, if they do go, it'll be it'll just be a sad fucking day because I would like to see the Iranian dictatorship fall. I don't want to see the Iranian people fall, but that can be done without sending our troops into harm's way. You know, Big Tech made a buck. Yeah, they did, but they're also losing a lot of interest too because people are catching on to them closing things down, right? So, oh, Trailer Park Boys. Okay, yes, I should remember Trailer Park Boys. The funny thing with Trailer Park Boys though is that they're making a joke and making a point, and yet I remember shortly after the show got its popularity, I would be seeing more and more people trying to emulate them. Mm. So, you know, mm. If I was looking at it politically, there'd probably be, yeah, okay, Mike, you made a point there. Okay, the more I think about it, yes, I would agree. There'd probably be assets dedicated, kind of like what they had in the first Gulf War under Maroney's watch. But I also remember big news stories about some naval elements raiding certain museums for uh, anti-aircraft capabilities. So that's the thing. You know, until our government procures things properly and makes sure that we are ready to go at a moment's notice, like we did have at one time. I personally think we don't have any business being in Iran for anything. I don't care who the president is. No, there's no reason for us to get involved in another ugly fucking war. So, have to sign for socks now. Are you serious, Tommy? Are you fucking with me? I'll get to your question there shortly, there, Adam. So, uh, okay, let's see here. Don't jumping straight through. I think they will goose step and lockstep and praise the heavens. Yes, jawohl. I think they will. Because we know how Justin and Joe like the dictatorships. Yes, jawohl. Yeah. Justin is a bullshitter. I don't believe anything he says. He will go along with whatever to look good. All he cares about is his image and a handful of people in his little group. He doesn't give two shits about Canada. He was caught making fun of Donald Trump and America before. We have our differences, yes, but I've worked with some Americans and I call them friends today because of that work ethic. Right? There's some Brits I know personally, great lads. Some of their political systems are a joke, right? The old British adage. Oh, yes, but I do my best to go because they're allies, you know. But to answer your question, yeah, I think they go hand in hand. They would. So yes, Joe, I think you're right. If they do deploy troops, it'd be whatever element, but I think our special forces would get it too. I don't know. The more I think about it, I just don't see the logic in it. But you know, trying to catch up to all your questions as soon as I can, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see here. Chris W. Based on what's happening in the world, I think people might be compelled to, but I've talked to people offline. They've asked me questions in regards to that. And I would say if you're going to join the military, go for the trades. Get something out of it. Get some more proper base work. I've encouraged a few lads to actually get into construction tech, engineering, even refrigerator techs, even mechanics, just to get your hands dirty into something else. I'm not saying don't join the infantry or don't join the artillery or armored, but the politics to me is a real shit show now. So, we definitely need the numbers for sure, but we're also very, very top heavy too. We have to get rid of some of these old lieutenant colonels and generals that are hanging on for dear life. So, mm. Oh my God, push-ups. Speaking of war, now that Biden gets in, when you think the CCP? Oh, of course they would. They would call favors behind the closed doors or whoever. That's inevitable, right? So that's the thing too, Mike. They might take Taiwan. I don't know. That's scary too. Now, will that compel the Western powers to get in and intervene? Right? Okay. Sorry for falling behind, folks. If you do feel like donating, please check out my YouTube page there. Click the super sticker, right? Donate what you can by all means. And I'm not demanding tons of currency, whatever. But if you do feel like doing, please do take advantage of the super sticker on my YouTube page, or check out my description on my YouTube page too. Check out my PayPal, the Buy Me a Coffee app. By all means, please. If you feel like donating, please do. You know. Mm. Joe CC, yes, there. See, that's the thing. There's too many. It's too top heavy, man. Like there's too many generals. Like really, too many fucking generals. I think on the show I did last week, we counted what 138. Really? That's quite a bit. Adam, imagine if the Redcoats would have only triumphed in the War of 1812. That's funny. But considering Canada at that time was still just a meager colony, we were like a pimple on the empire's ass that needed to be massaged. Not squeezed, but massaged. That's amazing. That's a good point, though. Um, yeah, I've actually thought about that too, actually. Well, what if the Redcoats kept going south and saying, okay, now you got your independence, you got this, now you're screwing with our colony, so here's a slap upside the head. But yeah. I don't know. That's weird because maybe Canada could have been a bigger part of America, or America be a bigger part of Canada. Who knows? That's a good point. Yeah. Okay, let's see here. Got more questions coming in. So let's famous slogans. You say the rapist, Alex? Yes. Yeah, join the army. I remember the old Canadian Armed Forces commercials. There's no life like it. Yeah. Mm. Well, technically, Fred, there was a linkage. It was part of the Commonwealth. I think South Africa was part of the Commonwealth up until the 60s, until Her Majesty got tired of the apartheid, and Rhodesia was part of it too. But a lot of people of the Commonwealth let Rhodesia down too back in the 70s. So, my God, makes me wonder how China would do to invade Taiwan. They would too, because I would think some Chinese troops might be reluctant to fight other Chinese when you think about it. But then again, they have a million standing, so it'd be a bloodbath. You know. It would be a bloodbath, an onslaught. No. Yeah, I hear Japan's building up too, but I'm not really worried about Japan. Um, Japan is not imperialistic like it was up until the 1930s. Um, they had a great smack since the two nuclear bombs, and they concentrated more on their production and their work ethic and how they treat themselves. I'm not really afraid of Japan, not at all. Fred Stockman, back to your question: if America and Canada would have been separated if the British won. If the British won the War of 1812, I think they would have let America just do its thing, because they realized those few short years after the Declaration of Independence and the War of Independence that they were up against a force to be reckoned with. But they would have also stood their ground more. If they weren't fighting the French, there would have been more troops in Canada for sure. But they were also fighting Napoleon at the time too. So they basically gave us whatever they could. And yet there was also a lot of militias and First Nations that stood the ground against the Americans. So, but then again, there was no real victor in that war. It was a draw, give and take. There were certain areas conquered, certain areas given back, certain areas conquered, certain areas given back. There were casualties, but it was just basically, if you want to think of it tactically, just a bunch of skirmishes, if anything. So, you know. I would agree with Chris. Yeah, Japan is focused on their own. Who knows what they're planning? Adam, let's see, Christy, if Japan revokes Article 7. Well, we don't think that the Japanese would side with anybody but their own democracy and their own democratic values. And I am positive they would be allied with the Americans, the Australians, Canadians if they got involved, for sure. I would rather have a gnat as an ally than a gnat as an enemy. So. But I know there was restrictions put on them after the war. There was restrictions put in Germany even after the war. There's even restrictions put on some allies after the war too. So who knows? But yeah, that's something to think about for sure. Yeah, Mike, the pipe boss. Yeah, we're gonna put that there. There we go. Yeah, Japan become more aggressive with China. There's a lot of yeah, I've heard of that too. And true, Japan has no desire to expand. They've got they're not they're traditional islands, but they have no need to expand. Japan does very well for itself. Where did that come from? Was that directed to me? Yeah, I'm not going to answer that one. Sorry, Adam. Hmm. Yes, Tommy Gunn. There were a lot of loyalists on both sides still too. There's actually a Facebook group called American Loyalists to Her Majesty. I think I actually saw it the other day. I was going to click on it and just look at it, but I was like, oh, wow. But yeah, I think there's a Facebook group, and they talk about that part of history. So. I am 16 thinking of joining the army. What is your opinion of Canadian forces? Well, if you want to taste a military life, go reserve. Try it out. But graduate high school and do what you can to see the world too. You know, like I said, I'm not going to recommend you get into combat arms, but there's lots of opportunities. The thing is, when you join the military, it's a heart and soul decision, whether you do 3 years or 5 years or 20 years. So get yourself in the reserves as you can. Try it out for a bit, right? And then go regular force and see what you like. Impending federal election, Wexit. They're coming out of the woodwork. I'm not a Wexiteer, but I can relate more to Wexiteers than I can Les Blocs. There's a little more substantial reasoning for Wexiteers existing. Don't necessarily agree with them separating from the country, but I'd like to see the province out here take a stand against Ottawa and say, no oil until you smarten up. That's my thing. But federal election, I think a lot of heads are going to turn. I'm going to be running in the federal election for my area, so we will see. Don't join. It's not one of. True, but like I said, push-ups. I didn't recommend the kid get into combat arms. If he wants to get into a trade or something, by all means, there's still excellent training in the trades. Like he could do his construction tech, and after 4 or 5 years, come out with his papers, and he'd be good to go. So. Okay, are you saying that in a British accent? Actually, no. I'm actually enjoying the these ones here. Yes, the Canadiana. Yes. Pall Mall Bold. Yes. Yeah, they actually taste pretty good. I don't mind how they taste. I've got a rolling machine and I got tobacco for emergencies, and they don't taste too different. A bit drier, but these are good. Yes, they're quite delicious. Yes. Um, yeah, I just said they're Pall Mall, the bold flavor. So, yeah. Mm. I remember a brand called Sweet Caparel when I was a kid. And in my teen years, I used to smoke Rothmans. In my 20s, used to be Craven A. Yeah. A lot of brands have changed since then, eh? So, Art McDonald. That's his name. That's the Admiral, right? Yeah, I don't know. I think they treat the CDS like a cabinet shuffle. You know, like I say, we're too top heavy. Yeah, I do smoke too much, Chris. I know. Mm, yeah, working on it. But thanks, though. Yes, it would have to be. Answer your question, Blue Apple. I don't know. I really don't. I look at them as politicians now too. I just I'm not impressed. You know, I like to see more people take a stand. I like to see more of these officers question the authority of our leaders. I would. So yes, there's a good point, Derek. Yeah, because I remember them. They've changed it over the past 20 years, right? And there's still people that's going to smoke cigarettes. So it doesn't matter if you put death or guaranteed sure shot at cancer. People are still going to smoke them. So um, top heavy. Top heavy means you got too much brass on top. It's like the old saying, too many chiefs, not enough Indians, right? Yeah, or too many police chiefs, not enough patrolmen. Too many police chiefs, not enough constables, right? Too top heavy, right? Here, oh my God, puts it there. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, too many officers already, right? Um, Sorry, my pets here are playing. So, right. Yes, it's true, Adam. As we discussed in your show there last week too. Yeah, it's very true. Mm. Yep, exactly. Oh, enjoy. Yep. Mm. Yeah, he's an admiral. So uh, that's true, Mike. That is true. Historically, yeah, you won't see that same caliber unless something devastating happens or somebody in the brass tells the government to smarten up. You know, let's see here. I think I'm caught up with all the questions. I think I'm caught up. I think. Lionel, give me your take on the Senate. Well, the Senate needs work. I would have to say the Senate needs a lot of work. Sorry, I missed your question there. Oh, I'm coming up here. Uh, I would like to see our senators elected. I also like to see an abolishment of the governor general. If we do have anything remotely close to the governor general, give it to the prime minister. Let the prime minister be the representative, as he or she should. You know, for tradition's sake, fine, have it appointed, but not all these great pay perks, right? Having an appointment and then you do it for 2 or 3 years and then you're done. That's it. No perks, no pension. You know, um, I would like to see our senators elected. I also like to see an overhaul of the Senate itself. I'd like to see more people that actually have a background when it comes to security and law, not just your token lawyer, but someone who's actually done some great good in the name of the law, in the name of security. So, my relaxing beverage of choice. Well, considering I don't drink like I used to, I do enjoy the odd red wine. I still make mead, so I enjoy a good glass of mead. And on a regular basis, cafe. Mm. So, and I drink tea as well. I like a nice traditional orange pico. So, but I don't drink beer like I used to, but I can enjoy a proper red pint, a good lager. But on an average, lots of water, lots of coffee. So, let's see. Chris W. Yes, I would say that, depending on your body at work, like I said in my last episode, if you do a period more than 10 years, you got nothing to show for it, then maybe you shouldn't be into politics. Right. So, uh, yes, there's quite a few, especially our brothers down south. There's quite a few 75, 80-year-olds who've been in power the past 35, 40 years. Time to go. Yeah. If these politicians are going to get a pension after 6 years, then fine. If they've done 6 years or 8 years, done. You're done. Give your position to somebody else till next election, right? So, and I say half the pension, really, because they get a pretty good pension for what they get paid. They still live pretty comfortable lives afterwards. So, yeah. Like I say, folks, take advantage of my super sticker if you can. You grab the dollar sign at the end of the comment page on my YouTube page, and give what you can, support what you can too. So, mead, yeah. Well, I make my own. I started off with the prison mead recipe, let it sit for a couple of months, then. But I enjoy it once in a while. So, if I was king for a day, I would fire a lot of these senior staff, and I would get rid of the procurement board, and I would set up a procurement board, meaning that if we need something for the Navy, then we have Navy personnel doing it. If we need something for the Army, have Army personnel. If we need something for the Air Force, have Air Force personnel. Right? Have proper engineers, proper designers, and getting involved. Right? And the board would only sit every time when something was needed, not forever. So I would fund the asked 2% and then some. Right? If it was up to me, I would go 3%. And it probably open up some old bases too, right? Because when you open up a base, you also incorporate a lot of civilians to work as well. So that's a good thing. Put some jobs back into people, especially in the East Coast. I would do that for sure. Well, I'll do, folks. I'll throw a link up to my store too. Please consider checking out my store at customizedgirl.com. Right. Find some t-shirts, some Crusty Canuck swagger, all that good stuff. I even designed some new shirts. So get yourself some hats, what have you. Technically, Joe, we do. They're called seesaw. A lot of old airborne guys called the shots when they stood up, so which was kind of cool. So, Adam, let's see here. What's the point of having a senior legislative house? Yeah, okay, rather than acting as a sober. Yeah. Well, yeah, I can agree with that too. I know there are reasons for them to be elected. Let's say if half the senators were actually elected, we'd probably get more done. So that way you can cut half of them. And that way, instead of having 60 or 80 sitting senators, you could have about 30 actually doing something constructive, working the longer hours, rolling their sleeves up and doing the proper job they were appointed to do. Right. So, Patriot Kaz. Bells and whistles, really, because they all act like politicians themselves. So, regardless of how hard their job may be, 9 times out of 10, they act like politicians themselves. So, um, I've been asked that before, Tommy. I would say mandatory service if you're a criminal, where a member of the Queen's bench can sit there and give you a choice. One, you go to jail, or two, you serve Her Majesty or the Canadian Forces. So I wouldn't force conscription. You know, I'd make it an option for kids coming out of school. They have no idea what they want to do. Okay, give them a taste of it. But I don't know. That's just the libertarian side of me. I'm not going to enforce that unless it's like Independence Day where an alien onslaught's coming, or there's literally barbarians at the gate. So uh, I try to. I use those floss sticks. They're quite good. Do you wipe? Yeah, then they should be sitting with Parliament every time Parliament sits. The House should sit too. Every aspect of the parliamentary system should be in the House. I don't buy this proroguing bull crap, right? They should have the same holiday structure as the military does. Get a week off in the spring, 2 weeks off for Christmas, 2 weeks off in the summer. Pending on your seniority, then take 3 weeks off, but still get back to effing work. So yes, exactly. Get paid when you work. Yeah. If you're off for 6 weeks, guess what? You don't get paid for 6 weeks. You know, if it's a designated holiday period, you're on your 2 weeks leave. Okay, fine. But when anyone prorogues something, nope, no pays this month. So yes, baby wipes all the way. Yeah. If you feel like donating, folks, please do. Don't be shy. You can follow the links on my YouTube page as well as check out my podcast page. Become a patron. Donate what you can. On my YouTube page, you can join for $1.99 a month. That will guarantee you accolades for live streams like this, proper appreciation. So you give $1.99 a month, mention your name, highlight a comment, give you proper applause. Yes. Yes. So you missed the flossing comment. Well, okay, pay attention. Yes, I use those floss sticks. They are great. Yes. Do you wipe? I don't floss like, but I use those little floss sticks you can buy for like a couple of bucks for like 100. They come in handy. In this together, as in the way the government says it? No, they're not in it with us. They can travel around the country, travel around the continent, travel around the world. By telling us to stay at home, they recommend us to stay at home, yet they travel all over the place. Can you say hypocrites? And if that's the logic, what do they know that we don't know when it comes to the pandemic? Hmm? So, yeah, we're all in this together because we're forced to. But I want people to go out and open up the stores, do their thing. Fine, wear masks, maintain our social distancing, but in the same sense, let mom and pop shops open, let Judy's shop open, let this person's shop open, keep it open, keep the economy going, right? So, Opening old bases. Well, it'd be an overreach because it's an old base to begin with. But let's say you have a base like Meaford, small base, okay, training base, great. It has a civilian population that works there. Doesn't matter if they're cleaners or cooks or in the administration, fine. But you're going to have the government overreach regardless because it becomes government property, right? Brought to you by the taxpayers. But if you're going to restructure the military and open up the old bases, when you get rid of the top, get rid of the cream on top, you get more solid foundation holding it together. So you could pass legislation where government does not intervene unless it's a time of war or a time of emergency. So, well, that would be preferable, but look at Israel's situation, John. They've been on standby since 1947. So you could try the Swiss adage, right? You know, but even that, like I said, I don't believe in just conscripting people unless it's World War III, where you're hitting the ground running, or you're a criminal. So you and I could look at that, Chris. Yes, we could look at that for what it is. But the problem is the people that way who don't want to look at that way. They get this idea that you abolish guns and gun crime is going to go down, but the stats in Toronto and Montreal proven otherwise. So, hmm? Yes, we could, considering Justin loves his training the Chinese troops. Uh, yeah, true, and they make up some excuse on why they're here and they're armed too. Unfortunately, I think some of them do, but a lot of them just don't care. Well, yeah, don't be shy, ladies and gentlemen. Come out and say hello. Let me know what's on your mind. Ask me anything you want to know. No, like I said, if you feel like donating, please donate. Just follow the links on my YouTube page. Click on the join. There are many tiers you can choose from. Or please follow me on PayPal, on Buy Me a Coffee app, and through Patreon on my Podbean page. Please, if you feel like donating, don't be shy. Every little bit helps. Like I might like to make this job a full-time commitment, the Crusty Canuck podcast. And I'm also working on some comedy too, which I've mentioned before. Keep an ear to that. Look at my community page on YouTube for updates and on Facebook, respectively, too. So, let me see this here. Making Chinese protecting their asset. I have no idea. I have no idea in push-ups. No idea. Thank you. Yes, by all means, please purchase something if you can too. Right. Like I said, at store I have T-shirts, I got hats, I got some buttons, some stickers, I got some nice mugs, a couple of jackets, a couple of hoodies. I got underwear, swimsuits for the ladies. By all means, there's ladies' tanks there too. So by all means, check it out. My debt's resolvable. Your debt's resolvable. The question is, what's the government going to do with our savings? So, who knows? I would say tuck your savings away. Do the old figurative hide it in your mattress. You know. So. It's definitely a UN influenced decision, Chris. But like I say, the CCFR is fighting in court as we speak, or they're gearing up for a court battle because a petition that was signed in regards to the unfairness of the OIC gun grab brought a lot of media attention and also turned a lot of heads. Excuse me. So, um, in Canada, there's going to be a fight that I can guarantee. So, Mike the Pipe Boss, yes. Well, see, that's the thing. You're absolutely right. I like the position, and they talk a good game of responsibility, but they fail to lace up. So that's the thing. Like everything else they do, they just fail to lace up. They do. Oh. Oh. Okay. Social moral responsibility. That's the core of. Yeah. Okay. Well, harsher punishment, but it's a sense of responsibility, which is fantastic. So, no, see, that's the thing. And we've been seeing that, I would say, more so the past 15 years, of anything. I think a lot of it also started with the sponsorship scandal back in the 90s. So you can go as far back as 25 years with the Chrétien government always giving La Belle Provence a few extra bucks, especially after the Meech Lake and the 1995 referendum. So, um, yeah. I'll say was expected today. There was nothing there. I can check tomorrow for you if you want.
That's our address.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe they forgot to put it in. I'll check it tomorrow for you if you want.
Come on, let's go inside. Are you still on your thing?
Yes, dear. Yes.
Sorry.
Yes, Senate needs to be elected. Yes, for sure. Yeah, it can be stopped. Like I said, the CCFR is going to court as we speak too, so that'll be in the works for sure. Oh yeah, Gerald Butts. He stepped down and then he magically reappeared again prior to the election to help his buddy out. He was the World Wildlife Federation's or Foundation guy. He was the honcho, and he basically pooled a lot of money from all these Fair Earth groups and everything. So, yeah, Gerald Butts, Putts the Butts, or Butts the Putts. Yeah. So, so thank you, Adam. Appreciate that, buddy. Thank you. Cheers. Thank you kindly.
Come on, let's go.
Mm.
Want a cup of cupcake? Good, and we'll have a cake. Let's go have a cake.
Well said, Derek. Yes, yes, big time. I think it's the whole conglomerate of property rights, personal choices, basically get rid of the whole stigma of the aesthetics of everything and just trying to bring back common sense, really. You know, just because what happened in Montreal should not reflect on how people like you or me should care about our lives. What happened in Montreal was heinous. I agree. Danforth shooting, heinous. What happened in Parliament Hill in October of 11, heinous. I get it. But in the same sense, it's like just because one or two people does something stupid, that doesn't mean you punish 100,000 for it. Right? So that's the thing. There's a lot of people out there that don't agree with guns, but they're not condemning people who do. Right? And you've seen the stats since May 1st, how much has gun crime gone up in the GTA? Right? How much has gone up in the GTA since then? And illegal firearms. It's been proven these guns were illegal. And what are they doing about nothing? They want to go with their mandates. They think they're doing something safe, right? Yeah, they wouldn't know fucking safety if it fell in their lap. And what's more disappointing too is when you watch a guy like Bill Blair, okay, and just the way the man speaks, he doesn't speak. He just stuff falls out of his mouth. That's it, right? And what annoys me the most is the fact that he was the chief of police of Toronto, I think up into what, 2014. So he should know. He of all people would know exactly about regulations, gun laws. He should, right? And then all of a sudden, jump the liberal bandwagon and turn into this anti-gun advocate. I'm just like fucking disingenuous twat, really. So far as the government is stalling. Well, of course they stall. The government has always stalled, especially when it comes to Veterans Affairs. They've stalled too, right? When some of our veterans would take them to court, they stalled as well. Stalling, that's the biggest tactic. When they don't have the smarts to stand their fucking ground, they'll stall. Yes, Joe. Bill Blair is a moron. Feel free to ask more questions, folks. By all means, don't be shy. You're on the Crusty Canuck podcast live stream on this beautiful 14th of January, 2021. So, had to get in some identification in there as well. So, by all means, let me know what's on your mind. Ask me anything you want to know. Okay, let's see here. Chris W. Let's see here. Should we close flights to and from China until they allow? Yeah. Well, that should have been done in the first place. That should have been done in the first place. But who knows exactly what's happening? Because Dr. Tam herself said if we speculate this early, it's going to be racist. And it's like, well, it's not racist. It's just what's the priority, So yeah, it should have been done a while ago. There should have been a hell of a lot more measures done prior to this than anything else. And if you get a chance, ladies and gentlemen, check out Keen Bexty's story there on the Rebel. It just came out there just before I went live. Actually, it's very interesting to say the least. Yes, so check it out if you can. I would never expect anything less than limousine rider, champagne bourgeois, bourgeois socialist. Yeah, the champagne socialists. Yeah, that's right. Utopia, everybody. That's what it is. Cake eater. I'm sure. Well, if you actually see him stand up in Parliament, I hear I'm beating myself up trying to lose a few pounds. But when I look at that guy, it's like, fuck. I got nothing to worry about. That's a great point, Derek. Yes. Most of these anti-gunners, they're the first ones to call the cops in a situation, too. And I guarantee if anything happens to them, i.e., someone breaks into the home, and someone goes against them with a gun or a machete, like that poor kid in Saskatchewan there about 2 years ago, okay, they're going to wish they had a gun, the ability to defend themselves. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. Hope Adam's mom's all right. So, yes, folks, please consider donating today if you can. I'd like to make this a full-time position. So, I'm also working on building up my website too. So, say if YouTube decides to disband folks like me, I could still hopefully get some videos and some content up and some podcasts up and running to get things for you, my listeners, and my viewers alike. So you can choose whether you want to donate or not. It'll still be free. Content will always be free. I'll leave the option to donate either $1 or $2 tiers. So you can donate every month. And I have about 7,000 plus so far on my YouTube. So if half of my subscribers would, let's say, give $1 or $2 a month, I would be on my way to something fantastic. So keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. So. Well, true. I don't think it will be possible. I know they'll probably turn more laws in, but my thing would be, let's say election is called, it becomes a conservative majority. I know for a fact that conservatives might take this OIC and just toss it and just let things be for what they are. Pierre Poilievre's weighed in that. Michelle Rempel, even Rona Ambrose, prior to her leaving the Conservative Party, weighed in. So we'll have to see. But a lot of them are just all talk. I am an advocate for gun rights. I would leave the laws where they are, right? If you qualify for it, if you got a clean bill of health, you have no issues upstairs, then by all means have a gun. And I would lower the restrictions when it came to transporting too. I'd be realistic, right? If you think everybody's a threat because they have a gun, then you're not doing your job properly. So. Oh, of course. And Canada, what 2.5 million up here. Not to mention the illegal ones that are going through the major cities and the major crime syndicates too, whether it be gangs or organized crime or not, right? Even half these politicians that keep saying, well, who's to say you're not going to sell your gun to a criminal? It's like, well, firstly, it's illegal, right? And secondly, if I'm going to be selling my restricted gun to somebody, I'm only going to sell it to another restricted card holder, or do it through a gun shop where I can give it to them, sell them for a price, and then go from there. I would agree with that too. Yeah. Honestly, I would agree with that too. You know, considering the size of Canada, we have to do it all, not just one, all. Right? Develop this navy, have amphibious carriers, have proper destroyers, proper submarines, not the knockoff training models that the Paul Martin government procured. Proper submarines, okay, proper aeronautics, i.e., let's have airmen back in the Navy again. Proper helicopters, proper fighter jets, patrol aircraft, you name it. If we're going to have a robust military, then we do it right from the get-go, and keep investing every 10 to 15 years when it comes to updates and procurement programs. We have enough industry in this country that can make it happen, really, especially when it comes to our shipbuilding, right? So we can't just emphasize on one, emphasize them all. Exactly. Nailed on the head, you know. But like I'm also thinking like a politician here. What can I do to make people feel safe? But I also want a dose of reality too. Yes, your neighbor has a gun. Your neighbor hunts ducks. Whoop de doo. There's no panic. You know what I mean? So should we depend on the help? Well, of course, as an ally, yes. But there's nothing wrong with us for stepping up our game too. Nothing. There's never been anything wrong with us for doing that. We did our part during the early days of the Cold War, right? When there was necessity, there still is necessity to do it. We don't have to have a million men in uniform, but if we're going to have people on the ground and ready to go, if they need to go someplace, then they have to be looked after, proper equipment, proper procurement, the whole works, and look after it properly, right? You know, depending on the United States, if let's say World War III happens, but we can't constantly be relying on Uncle Sam to do that for us. We have to do things on our own too. You know? And as Joe says, it would create jobs in this country, especially the ship jobs. You know, St. John, New Brunswick, Victoria, BC. God, a hell of a lot of work there. Well, there are numerous times, not just the Arrow, Joe. There's tons of times with satellites, with tanks. I think some ships were considered in the 1960s prior to Trudeau scrapping the Bonaventure. There are lots of ideas. Like the Canadian defense industry is pretty good. You know, we don't have to always worry about tenders. Who is the best bid? We've got the engineers and a lot of smarts in this country that can do it. It's just a matter of the government allowing it without regulating it and red taping the shit out of it. So, no, I agree, Derek. Yeah, support the American things too. But here in Canada, if we can't defend ourselves, then we can't rely on America or Britain to do it for us. We have to be sufficient when it comes to it. So, well, you're right, yeah, especially with the digital and a lot of computers and everything too. But when it comes to getting the bulk of it done, i.e., the shipyards in Victoria and St. John, it can be done, right? There are systems you can buy from Denmark and Sweden that are fantastic too. There's lots of computer technology in this country that can assist. I know because I carried some of the radios that were built in Canada. We used the 117 quite a bit, but in the same sense, there are a lot of licenses and manufacturers that are willing to put in tenders for the sake of combat readiness, for the sake of having military on guard and everything. So, it wouldn't be as rapid as what, let's say, Malton was during World War II, but you can get a lot more done in a year than the government's plan of getting everything in 5 years or 10 years because of their procurement process. So, you know, yes, it would. It would help, especially in the East Coast when it comes to shipbuilding, right? Victoria as well. Not to mention the manufacturing hub is around Kitchener Waterloo with Colt Canada doing a lot of things. Not to mention some other factories that can look after a lot of clothing and even parts for military vehicles. So it was a fair size, John. Yeah. It was also Canada had, I think, the third or fourth largest navy at the time too. So that's something. Considering the Canada's population was, I think, roughly 13 million. So Canada was doing pretty good. So no, I agree. I agree. No more of the get rid of the Martin-esque or the Chrétien-esque idea of procurement. Right? If Canada's going to get a contract to build helicopters and get helicopters, then follow through. Same as our ships. We have the means in this country to build our own submarines. If not, we can make a deal with Britain or France or even our friends to the south, some kind of deal. Like when the Australians needed to get something done, they did it. It didn't matter if it come from the States or if it came from Britain. Their concern was, does it work? Can it benefit us? There you go. Done. When you hear about this thing about Canadiana, it's like, okay, yeah, we can invent things and do things, but there's a constant reinventing the wheel over and over and over again just to make something Canadian when we need something that's supposed to work, right? So oh goodness. Oh, who made this? Okay. Shouldn't take. Exactly. Exactly. Look at the shit show that Jean Chrétien produced after Maroney put the original tender up for the Cormorant. And Chrétien canceled it because it seemed corrupt. Yet it ended up costing the taxpayers an additional $500 million for cancellation. Now they're in service. Come on, like I said, we have to get rid of these procurement boards and put people on these boards and know exactly what they're doing. Like I said, if you want to get stuff from the Navy, have Navy personnel on these boards. Stuff from the Army personnel on these boards. Air Force personnel on these boards. If you need forest firefighting equipment or fire trucks or ambulances, everybody from said field of expertise should be sitting on these boards. Not somebody who has a half-assed degree and has a desire to get brown stuff on their fucking face. Somebody with an actual background and understanding what equipment is needed for the job, right? But no, I'm thinking too perfect for that common sense. Oh, can't have that. So well, when you look at the Enfield, it's still an effective rifle for that high Arctic. But I agree, there was lots of back and forth in that because they wanted to give and make use of a lot of the old war stock, right? So, but you can be just as effective with the new. I think it's the Tika they use now. Yeah, like up at that high, I would definitely use bolt action because of the cold and the working parts. But I'd also, be privy to consider a semi as well. Um, I know there's rifles in the system that can endure high Arctic temperatures. Um, but yeah, I remember I remember the carfuffle with the fucking Enfield versus any other variant, right? The thing is, they wanted to make use of the old war stock. Hell, they were using the old Thunderbirds for Air Force patrols for the longest time too. What the hell were they called? I think they were called Thunderbirds. I'm not sure. They were made in the 50s, so Can we have interior decorating? Well, maybe next election we'll see. You know, maybe I might turncoat and go liberal and have me as the health minister. Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. When I look at our defense minister now, he was the first one to scream racism if someone criticized him. And he's always weighed in on anything racial. He's never weighed in on anything proper procurement. He stood by the F-18s for the old F-18s because, oh, it's a great idea. No, his job was easy. All he had to do was sign some papers, and that was it, right? Yeah, I would say it's an asset. Every year, at least go out for a week and do some winter indoc, right? At least get the tick in the box, understand the cold. Remember the cold abbreviation? Clean, overlayer, dry, all that good stuff. Yeah. So yeah, it's by all means. We did some X's with the Rangers many moons ago, and that was a lot of fun. A lot of fun working with those guys. So. Okay, folks, I'm going to give this another 10 minutes and then I'll shut her down at the evening. So get your questions in. Don't forget to donate if you can. Links are in the chat box there. Please don't be shy. Use the super chat and the super sticker, respectively. And don't forget to check out my shop and get yourself some Crusty Canuck swagger today. So, and keep an ear to the ground to my community page too. Like I say, I'm working some comedic skits. So there might be a second channel up there. The name of Crusty Canuck for some comedy, just off the wall stuff. Nothing too fancy, just me goofing around with the camera. I've written some characters down, a little bit of script work, a little bit of creation. So keep your ear to the ground. Hopefully by end of January or sometime next month, you'll see some crusty comedic out there. So keep an ear to the ground on the community page. You can check for updates there and check for updates on my Facebook page as well. So. So don't be shy, folks. Get your questions in. I notice there's more people signing on. So don't be shy. Yes, the old jets for the older jets, of course. Yeah, I know a few of them came into play there this past July. So, but yeah, the thing is, it's insulting because it just goes to prove that the federal government doesn't respect the service and it doesn't respect the dedication of these men and women in all of our branches when they replace something old with something old rather than getting something new, right? Well said, Mike. Yes. That's one of the reasons why I want to get into the VCP and run, because there's too much of that old mandate. I want to sit in Parliament and I want to ask the tough questions and I want to spar back and forth with these clowns. I want to see proper debate come back to the House of Commons, House of the People. I want to see that. And if it means I have to stay up all night and write my way into it, then I will. Shit simple. Right? And it's not for the sake of the party I'm joining. It's for the sake of this country and the people I'm willing to represent. And you're right. You're every right, because there's a lot of that mantra, a lot of that stupidity, as Adam said in one of his fast thoughts, the Canadian arrogance that's holding a lot of things back. We got to slay that arrogance. Take care, Patriot. All the best to you. Thanks for coming up, Patriot Kaz. Appreciate that. Cheers, buddy. My thoughts surrounded by the fellow patriots serving us all, knowing support's not there. Well, the thing is, there is support. It's a silent majority, if anything, but I want to see more of the visual too. I want to see people get out there. Right now, financially, I'm in no position to go out and protest every time there's a rally in Edmonton or Calgary. Um, it adds up. Last month, I was training for my bus license, and I was spending an average of $40 to $50 a day in gas alone, and it fucking adds up. And I'm in a position right now to always just hop and go someplace. That's why I'm always asking for donations so people can help me along here. So once I start generating a good income, then I can do that on behalf of my viewership and the people who like my show, so every minister should be appointed from the people. Yeah, okay, sure. If you're going to appoint a health official, then it should be based on his or her qualifications, not just because gender or she has a degree in graphic design. No, it should be a medical field. Same as when it comes to justice, anything to do with law, you have to have a law background. When it comes to defense, you have to have, I would say, a bigger defense resume than just 20 years in reserves. I don't care what rank you are. You would think that they would point people on merit, but there's no such thing as merit anymore. It's all about identity politics and gender spectrum. Right? What a joke. And of course, experience in said position too. Right? If you're going to be appointed a health minister, you have to be a practicing medical doctor with a lot of experience to back it up, especially with a background in virology. What else would I have to say? Well, I guess a bit of everything, really. Dermatology, virology, cardiovascular health, mental health, especially mental health too. Because we all know the mental impacts that these restrictions Canada-wide are putting on our people. Look at the opioid crisis. It has gone through the fucking roof in Alberta and in BC respectively. Right? A lot of young kids are getting hooked on fucking opioids. Some of them have died. And what's being done about it? Stay indoors. Don't shop here. Don't shop there. Yeah, priorities, eh? Well, that's debatable too, because I know hockey's starting up. And to be honest with you, Mike, I really don't give a fuck. I'd rather see more kids out in public skating around, and I'd rather see more smaller arenas supporting their junior teams and their midget teams and their peewee teams, you know? And that itself is a contradiction. Yet the pros can play, but kids can't go to arenas and play or play in public. So it's showing priorities here. Yeah, we love our hockey. Don't get me wrong. I was disappointed this year that Canada got away with the silver. They should have owned the fucking gold, right? Because they had the better offense than the Americans, but still, priorities, right? Which is more lucrative for the governments, what it is. Okay, folks, I'm going to give this a couple more minutes and then I'll shut her down for the evening. And that will be the end of the first live stream of 2021. So, yeah. Don't be shy, folks. Come on in and say hello. Okay. Yeah, distractions, booze and smokes. Other distractions here, constantly hearing about the American machine. It's like, yeah, I'm concerned for my American friends and my brothers and sisters down there, but I'm also concerned too with how our government's going to react to a lot of the crap. And they don't emphasize on some of the inner dealings and little fucking tickles that are going on up here. So a lot of it's deflection. See, that's what gets me too with the lockdowns as well. Keep all the liquor stores open. You can smoke and drink as much as you want. That's deemed essential. But going to certain grocery stores isn't, right? Going to certain shops isn't. So it's a shit show, right? Kiprioff. Oh, no problem, Kip. No, you're welcome anytime. Everyone's welcome to come on and weigh in on my live streams. Doesn't matter what time it is. Whenever you can get here, you can get here. By all means. No problem. Not a problem, folks. I say, folks, I'll give another couple of minutes and then we'll shut her down. So get your questions in, and don't forget to check out my donation parts in the description and my YouTube page. If you feel like donating, please do, or join the page on YouTube by all means. $1.99 a month gets you my content and accolades. That's right, a proper applause every time you donate. And you'll see your name right here at the bottom of the screen, giving you an applause. Yes, thank you. And that's the thing. How many government employees do you know personally have lost their jobs because of this issue? I've lost 2 opportunities because of this bloody beer bug. 2 opportunities gone. Right? And for what? For what? Fear, panic. That's what it is. Right? And then you get more of these individuals who are complaining about people being out in public, and yet they fail to realize that they're getting paid anywhere from $4,000 to $5,000 every 2 weeks, in some cases a month, depending on where you work, whatever office. And yet we're the assholes. So, well, everything, even municipal too. You're right, Kip. Everything municipal, provincial, and federal alike. Right? I personally don't care who travels. I don't care where you travel. I don't care if you can afford to go to Hawaii every year or go to Ireland. Fine. But don't sit there and tell me, okay, we don't want you to travel. We want you to stay here and be safe and all this, and yet you can gallop around the globe. Slight contradiction. So which is it? Right? So that's the thing. If they do call an election in the spring, I highly suggest to all of you, my viewers, my listeners out there, really hold a sign up and demand accountability and demand the transparency. And if it means you got to throw some bricks, well, you didn't hear it from me. So. Yep, exactly. Has to be held accountable for everything. Dave. Well, other than what's live right now, Dave, I would have to say the music industry died, I think, around, my best guess would be not when everything went digital, but when they stopped displaying and promoting genuine acts. Right? How many Katy Perry's are out there? How many Lady Gagas are out there? How many Cardi B's are out there? It's a fucking joke. And there's so many people that want to emulate them. Why? Whatever happened to actually going and seeing a great band? What actually happened to turning on the radio and getting excited to hearing a band? No, you have to hear auto tune, and you have to hear certain voice altercations, all talking about the same thing. All these regurgitated Disney stars coming into the mainstream. Like, come on, fuck. Whatever happened to genuine, soulful, good rock and roll? Whether it was powerful, whether it made you dance, whether it made you angry, whether it was political or not, fucking, you know, it sucks. The best thing that I would say to musicians right now is make your own and then distribute your own. That way you get paid. Shit simple, But no, good question, Dave. Appreciate that. You know. Oh, I agree, Derek. I agree. A little more honesty come out of the woodworks. You know, for example, you could say, fine, keep your masks and do your social distancing, but go grocery shopping, go get your medication, go get your liquor, go to a movie, right? Have some fun again. Go out in public, skate, right? Like I just so disingenuous, so fucking disingenuous. These clowns. Yeah, even in local pubs too. You go see a live band that happens to be doing, say, a small little tour or a national tour. That's fucking great. My punker days, I remember seeing DOA, UK Subs. There was a band they came out of Scarborough. They were called Sing Along with Tonto. They were kind of like a Faith No More esque kind of thing. They were fucking phenomenal. I remember seeing the Tea Party when their first major album came out. It was fucking phenomenal. Just a great feeling seeing these decent groups going out doing their craft. And it was no big deal. It was a big deal, but it wasn't painstakingly hard to get tickets or to qualify or to, it was just shit simple, but fun, you know? Okay, folks, I'm gonna give it a couple minutes and then I will shut this down. So get your questions in as soon as you can. Remember, if you feel like donating, please follow the description in my YouTube page and donate what you can. Anything will do. And if you just want to take a look at my shop too and check out my t-shirts and some swagger, feel free to. Links are on the page. And I will try to get a new episode of the podcast up probably Monday or Tuesday by the latest. So pay attention to my community page on YouTube and my Facebook page for updates. So my next live will probably be 2 weeks from now. I try to do the live every 2 weeks. So probably the 28th. So Norma Jean's, I've heard of that spot, Norma Jean's. Yeah, I've heard of that place in London. Some of my old stomping grounds was the Brunswick Hotel because I remember 50 was so bloody cheap because Labatt Brewery was just down the road. Yeah. There was Call the Office. That was a nice stomping ground to see some good punk acts. Electric Banana, we played there when I was with the band a couple times. I think last time I checked, it turned into some kind of Brazilian steakhouse or something. I'm not sure. But I remember seeing the Dayglow Abortions at the Embassy. That was a cool show. I think I saw the Super Suckers there too. I'm not sure. Anyway, I saw both bands there. Yeah. So. Yes, Derek, I agree. When you see some pub bands, you would know the guys. Yeah. Yeah. Or you got to know the guys because it was just that laid back, easy atmosphere. We could sit and buy them a beer or they'd buy you a drink and you just talk about music or your favorite things. That was always genuine. You don't see enough of that genuine anymore. You don't. It's scary. So. And Mike, yeah, beers didn't cost $20 a can at the concert. Yeah. Exactly. You could get away with bringing in something yourself. Enjoy the show. So, and that's what gets me too, because when I'm a big TFC fan. I love my Toronto FC. I do. So, Toronto FC. Yeah. So, I like my TFC. I went there in 2008. They were playing San Jose, and it was like $12 for a can of Carlsberg. Wow. So that was a little disappointing. So luckily, my father, my stepbrothers, and my brother-in-law and I, we had a few beers before the game. So, yeah. Max Webster. That's funny because I was thinking about them today. Kim Mitchell's old band, right? Yeah. Yeah. Sabo Beach Pavilion. Is that still up? The pavilion's still up at Sabo Beach, is it not? I'm sure it still is. It has to be. Max Webster. Yeah. 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 Dayglow. Yeah. You know what's funny? Because I remember seeing them at the embassy back in '94. And when I was bouncing at the local bar here, they made a surprise appearance. Maybe 20 people come out to the show, but those 20 people love punk rock. So that was excellent. I sat with the band. I told them, I saw you guys in the embassy. Yeah. Just a good time, So, well, that's sad, Dave. That's because I remember I had memories at Sabo Beach in my youth. So, a great beach town. So, Lulu's in Kitchener, I believe, eh? They used to have some decent shows there too. Yeah. So, okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be shutting this down now. So, anyway, I want to thank everybody who came out tonight, helped me with the live stream. I'm using the StreamYard now. So you'll probably see that in the future. That way I can reach out to both spots on my Facebook page and YouTube, respectively. Like I say, I've been trying to get into Rumble too. So I'll probably be a third page where some of my fans from the South can reach me as well to keep the words going. So, like I say, ladies and gentlemen, regardless of what's going on right now, do what we can to help each other out to the best of our abilities. Right. And I want to thank everybody who came out, especially Mr. Adam Daniel Mazet, Mike the Pipe Boss, and Gabriel. I'm sorry. Fuck, I forgot your last name, Gabriel. Fuck, I'm sorry. But Gabriel, nonetheless, we had some good talks about liberty and what have you. But I want to thank everyone else too who's weighed in. Derek, Joe, Chris, Dave, Mike the Pipe Boss, Derek again. Yes, everyone who's weighed in and said hello this evening. So I appreciate that. Appreciate that very much. All your commitments and your kind thoughts and your commitments. Much appreciated. And everyone who loves this country, by all means. So, like I said, my next live stream will probably be on the 28th, same time, 6 p.m. on the 28th, Mountain Standard Time. So please don't be shy. Come out and say hello. And I'll probably have a new episode of the podcast up either Monday or Tuesday by the latest. So keep an ear and an eye out on my community page and my Facebook page for updates. Once again, thank you very much, everyone who's come out tonight. Appreciate the donations. Take a look at my shop. And like I always say, humanity merit wins the day. Take care, folks, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now. Oh, that's right, Mike. Yes, Mr. Gabriel Shear. Thank you, buddy. Well, sorry, I didn't try to exclude you. I just forgot your last name, man. That's all right. Anyway, take care. That's right. Keep your stick on the ice. Take care, everybody. And we'll see you next time. Bye for now.